if I could see the small print in each of those lines of sand, I'd let you know what they are. But as you can see, each different color represents an element of the program. So the bottom light green is Orion. I think the next one up is Ares 1. The next blue line up is Ares 5. Then I think we've got ground operations, probably Altair next in the dark green, light green. Thank you, Leroy.
Other CX elements, lunar surface systems in yellow, and then other non-CX elements in orange.
Thanks.
And then you've got the dark, and towards the left is ISS, towards the left again is shuttle.
Right, and you'll see that ISS, the shuttle extends only out to 2011, and then there are some termination retirement costs. ISS is terminated in early 2016. So this is what all the charts that you're going to see are going to look like. These are going to start blending together after a while, but the format is going to be consistent. I think even the color scheme is consistent. The lines at the top show particular milestones: shuttle retirement, ISS retirement. The red lines are showing capabilities coming online. So in the unconstrained budget, Orion and Ares 1, arrive shortly after ISS is deorbited. And then you get human lunar return in, I think that's 2021. Thank you, Leroy. So this is in the unconstrained budget. And then the thing to look at is how much above the budget that we are supposed to be fitting to it is. That budget is the black dashed line that goes all the way across at roughly $9 billion a year, if you want to try to find that black line. So this shows you in a given year how many billions of dollars over that budget this unconstrained program of record would be. Next slide.
Sally, before you move on, this is a truly excellent slide to point out graphically what we've talked about verbally. Yeah. Which is the focus tends to be very much on what do these systems take to develop. But the really dominant effect is you look out at the right part of the chart and you discover that we are on a path right now for a system that requires on the close order of double the current budget just to operate.
Mm-hmm. That's the steady state numbers you can see. You're kind of approaching steady state there out in 2028 or so, and that's the operation.
If Santa Claus brought us this system tomorrow, fully developed, and the budget didn't change, our next action would have to be to cancel
it. Yeah.
And Sally, could you give us an estimate as to the integral between the top line and the sort of dash line?
Let's see. Leroy, is that?
49.
Yeah, so it looks like the integral FY10 through 30 is 307 billion.
No, just above. What's just above the dash line? What's the overages?
So the dash. Let's see. The dash. Let me give you out through 2020 because I know that. Okay. 2020, the integral under the dashed line is 99.2 billion. Okay. That's not on the chart. And then you can look here that it's 149, so it's 50 billion over out to 2020.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Next slide. All right. This one is going to be the fit of this program to the President's budget. So now Aerospace is now doing another set of runs that will essentially squash and push to fit this program into the budget that we have been asked to meet, that we've been asked to fit things to. So we're still assuming the flyout in March of 11, ISS retirement in 2016. Next slide. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And, it's a computer, so you can do anything you want. You can actually make a chart like this that fits the budget. But if you take a look at this budget, you can see that there are a few things wrong with it. One is that you get, again, Orion and Ares 1 capability of crew to LEO a couple years after ISS is gone, so there's nothing for Ares 1 and Orion to go to. You do get a heavy lift out in 2028, but you'll notice that there are no lunar systems that have been developed. There was not enough money to even start the lunar systems. So you have a heavy lift vehicle in 2028, but absolutely nothing to put in it to send it to the moon. So this says it pretty well. You cannot do this program on this budget. And it's just back to Norm's basic message. You know, if you want to do something, you have to have the money to do it. This chart, and actually several of, as we started doing a lot of runs on a lot of these different scenarios, we kept coming up with a common theme, which was this budget is very, very, very hard to fit with and still have an exploration program. In fact, we are still looking for an existence proof that we can actually find one. So we haven't found one yet, but we're still looking. We've only been working on this for 160 hours. Because of that, we decided that we needed to ask a slightly different question. We needed to say, well, what if we tried to fit it to something that was a less constrained budget? So next slide. We tried to fit the program of record to a less constrained budget. It's the same thing. And go on to the next slide. This is what we chose as the less constrained budget. We had quite a discussion about what budget line to choose. We decided to kind of split the difference, and we didn't want to make that budget line too small because then we were afraid that we'd not be able to accomplish any exploration. We didn't want to make it too large because then we'd just be laughed off the stage. So we chose the red line that you can see there. It ramps up slowly to $3 billion a year over the budget that we've been given, and then it stays at a constant $3 billion a year over that budget out until 2020, and then we allow that red line to grow with inflation at a rate of 2.4% per year. Now that's important because the run-out budget that we've been given grows at an inflation rate of only 1.4% per year all the way out to 2030. So you can immediately understand the problems that the program is in trying to fit that budget. Every year you go, you have less buying power than you had the year before if inflation was actually greater than 1.4%. Next slide. So this is the Constellation program, the program of record fit to the less constrained budget. And this one, you know, again, this is a computer, so you can always fit these things into whatever budget you want, and the schedule kind of falls out. And this turns out to be a fairly reasonable program. Ares 1 and Orion arrive in late 2016. That's not too much of a delay. It's after ISS has been deorbited, so again, there's nothing for them to service, but they're there not too far behind schedule. You get human lunar return in 2025, and now this is the chart that you can use to envision. Turns out that red line is pretty close to the envisioned ESA, the envisioned program at the time of the Vision for Space Exploration. So this is fairly close to the budget that Constellation thought it was going to have. You know, at least to first order, it's within that. And if you think we're kind of almost 5 years beyond that, and this slips human lunar return almost 5 years, you can see that the Constellation program did a pretty reasonable job of projecting and estimating with the budget that they were working under. Next slide. So that's the program of record and what it looks like. Now I want to talk about some of the new scenarios. And I think that, you know, fitting the program of record to the FY